So I'm testing my microphone at the moment. So I need to be sure everyone can hear me. If you can hear me, do let me know, okay? Okay. If you can hear me, do let me know. Okay. So I'll wait a few more minutes for more people to join. For some reason, this looks like it's breaking, and I don't know if it's the same at your own end. The video seems to be breaking. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Kelechi. Okay, so I'll just wait a few more minutes for other people to join and I'll start. It's definitely recorded, so anyone can catch the replay afterwards. So, okay. Oh, thank you. I thought it was breaking from my own end. Thank you. So I'm just trying out my microphone for a live session for the first time. I think it must sound cool actually. So I'll check later to see how it sounds. Okay. So where are you joining me from? I'm here in the UK and it is very cold at the moment, like really, really cold. So where are you joining me from? Yes, it's also on YouTube. I'm streaming onto YouTube and LinkedIn. Yes, it is. I know it's Friday night, nevertheless, we move. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Kelechi. Thank you. Okay. So, since this is still going to be recorded and people will catch the replay, I think I should just proceed, So, it's all about the launch of my podcast. Even talking about it, hearing that sound, podcasts, it sounds really exciting because I didn't know that the year would be ending like this. In fact, I'll get to that. So at this moment, I just want to welcome everyone. I just want to say thank you to everyone that has believed in me. From the very first time I shared the idea, the feedback has been amazing. The feedback has been amazing. So for everyone that supported me on this journey, thank you and welcome to the launch of my podcast. Hey, I'm just excited, so forgive me. Forgive the joy, just forgive it. I'm just excited, I can't help it. So I have some things on my list which I call the launch plan. Okay, so the launch plan is just a guide on what's going to be happening here this evening, and I want it in such a way that in 30 minutes or less than that, depending, we should be done. Okay, because if you followed me for a while, you realize that I try to live the life of minimal stress. That means if there is anything that can be done quickly, we do it and get done with it so that we can go to the next thing, even if it means just going to lie down in the bed. So where are you joining me from? Why waiting to read your comments, to read from you. I'll just progress to the next. Okay, let me just tell you what to expect, okay? And then we'll take it one at a time. So the next thing is I'm going to talk about my journey into stress management as a doctor. And that is after I've introduced myself, which I'm going to be doing shortly. Okay, after giving you the outline. And now the next thing is how I ventured into podcasting in 2023. That's what is happening right now, And then I'm going to share a clip. It was supposed to be a 5-minute clip, but I've reduced it to 1 minute because I tried to figure out how to share 5 minute clip. I don't know, maybe it seemed a lot, so I just put it down to a 1 minute clip from the podcast, one of the episodes of the podcast. And then the fifth thing is launching the podcast and letting you know where you can find them, okay, so you can enjoy the episodes. And now the next one is I'll talk about my community, and I'll talk about gifts, question and answers, or anything else. All right, thank you. So I am Ezine Nnamdi Lewis. I am a medical doctor working here in the UK. So at the moment, I am an emergency medicine physician. And in addition to that, I'm also a stress management coach. I've been in the stress management industry since 2018. However, I got a coaching certificate last year. And I have special interest in work-related stress, which is why I had to get a certification this year by NEBOSH. It's a well-known, what is it called? NEBOSH, a certification. Sorry, let me not make a mistake, but they are really well-known in training, in health and safety trainings, okay? So I got a certification from them this year. So I'm certified in work-related stress management, which is really exciting because my target audience is mainly the African professional. That is my target audience. And then one more thing is that I am an author. I authored the book called Stress We Are Done. Like, I don't have any relationship with you. We are done. And also, I am the convener of the Stress Management Summit Africa, which is an annual event that holds every year. It's annual. Definitely, it's every year in the month of April. So, in that summit, we bring together different professionals to help people cope with their stress, mental well-being, depending on what the theme is for the year. So the 5th one will be taking place next year, April. I'm excited because it's always a great event. And in addition to all of these, I am married. I am a mom of 2 little children. The first is 4 years and the second is 1 year old. So just parenting is a lot on my hands. In fact, you capture some of these things, like my entire self, in the podcast, especially in my introductory episode, where I talked about how parenting is influencing the podcast. It's actually exciting. Hi, Annette. Nice to connect with you. Thank you for being here. Okay. So now I've introduced myself, I think I'll just go on to the next thing on my launch plan, which is my journey into stress management. So if you listened to me, I am a medical doctor, and you won't believe this. Throughout my time in the medical school, I didn't know there was anything like stress management. I'm not kidding. I had no idea. However, in the year 2018, it seems a lot of things happened in 2018. So in 2018, I think June specifically, that was when I finished my professional exams, the PLAB 1, PLAB 1 exam, professional exam to practice to go to the UK to work as a doctor. So I finished the first one and I was meant to do the second one. And to do that, I needed to travel to the UK, which is where it will be done. So I applied for visa. No, before I applied for visa, I got this prompt. I'm a Christian, so I got this prompt to fast for 10 days. This has never happened in my life. I've never had such prompts before. for like the past for 10 days. I said, okay, this is perfect timing because at the end of the 10th day, I would now apply for my visa. I was like, oh, maybe this is a direction for me to apply for the visa and for it to be successful. But then something happened by the day 3. That was when I realized that I was understanding the scripture differently than usual. And it wasn't just enough. I came across one scripture. I remember that day vividly like it was yesterday. It was somewhere in Matthew chapter 6 where it talked about don't worry about tomorrow. If God can take care of the birds, why worry? So I came across the scripture and for some reason I had this eureka moment like, wow, I've discovered the cure to anxiety. I was like, oh my God. I began to scream. I began to jump around the house that I've discovered the cure to anxiety. The scripture wasn't new to me, but for some reason that particular afternoon, it triggered something in my life, So I said that with this scripture, I'm going to help people cure their anxiety. It sounded so simple. So what I did was I began to research more about helping people get to that place where you don't have to worry. So, but the more I kept researching, I came across self-love. I came across different terms, different phrases, and that was when I came across stress management on Google. Like stress management, that's cool. I left it at that because this is not what I'm here for. I'm here to apply for my visa and go to the UK to progress my career. So after that was done, after that incident, after the 10th day, I applied for the visa and interestingly, I got my big no. And that big no was, no, we're not giving you any visa. And what that meant was that either I traveled to Qatar to live with my husband or I remained in Nigeria to work for maybe about 6 months to build my accounts balance again for another visa application. So I chose the other one of traveling to be with my husband. So that was what led me to Qatar. I went to Qatar, and it was when I got to that country that it occurred to me that I couldn't work in that country because of my qualification. So I couldn't practice as a doctor. And what was just a simple no to my visa application turned out to be a 3-year unplanned career gap. You won't believe it. So what happened then was after the first month, second month, it started becoming clear that I didn't have any stance in this country, talking about Qatar. So what do? I'm not the lazy type. I'm one of the, what I call it, ambitious ladies that want to get their hands doing stuff, just get busy, even though it doesn't have to be a manual stuff, because that's where I don't have energy in. Okay. So I remembered the idea of stress management. I remembered it again and began to research. Now that triggered a different level of excitement. And it was more like the more I learned about this thing, the more exciting it was that I was seeing explanations on why we behave the way we do, why we react and respond to things the way we do. Stress management was explaining all of that to me. So the more I read about it, the more excited I was, and the more I taught my husband, who turned out to be my first audience and my first client. So that was how the passion was ignited, and that was how it was fueled. And what turned out to be a 3-year career gap became a brand building for stress management. And here we are today. So that is just my story on how this medical doctor became a stress management specialist, someone with interest in that field. So, what do you think about my story? I just had to cut it short, and I know that you got the meat of the story. So, tell me, what do you think? Okay, let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you're following before I go to the next thing. Just even if it's an emoji, anything at all, just drop it. Let me know that I'm not talking to myself, okay? Before I just go into the next thing, I just want to carry everyone along. Can I just see a comment? Anything at all? I really appreciate that. Okay. Okay, while I wait for your comments, let me proceed. So, coming to the next thing, which is how I went into podcasting, which I'm launching today. What happened? At the beginning of this year, I already had a plan to launch a business, okay? An online business in the coaching industry, specifically in stress management, but I can also do life coaching. So what I did was I wrote out my plan, I wrote out everything I wanted to do. And in addition to coaching, one of them was to podcast. So I just wrote them down at the beginning of the year, and that was it. Like, I didn't follow it. Yeah, I followed it up to an extent, but podcast was far away from it until sometime in August, September, yeah, or even early, I'm not sure exactly. I realized I came across a website, which is the Global Wellness Institute. The Global Wellness Institute. For some reason, I came across it and I subscribed to their website. Okay. So by subscribing to their email list, I was getting information on what's going on in the wellness industry. And it was really, really exciting. Really exciting. And I was like, is this happening in the African space? And in addition to that, I also came across a movie that was recommended by them. I watched the movie and I realized that nobody's talking about it in our space. And I even mentioned something about it. The response was so minimal. I'm like, okay. So it occurred to me that I always wanted to talk. I want to share things about wellness. I want to share things about stress management. And then coming to just write it down is not enough, because how many words am I going to write down to capture everything I want to share? So I just had to keep talking to my husband, because I'm sorry for him. That's the only ear I can talk to for a long time, even if he doesn't like it. So this is how I continued learning and yearning to share whatever it is I was coming across. And then, in addition to that, I have special interest in professionals. As a work-related stress management coach. And I also have special interest in Africa, because I am one. I'm an African professional. So I know what is peculiar to me, and I know what is expected or what is obtainable in our own industry. And I realized that there isn't a lot of information out there peculiar to us. There is a lot of information out there for the Western world, but what is for us? So these are the factors that made me think one day, why not just start up a podcast? Since you want to talk, say them in a podcast, help people, support people in the wellness journey. So that was how it started. That was how the idea came on, and I said, woo, podcast it is. And by October, I began to research about podcasting. I didn't know what to do. I've had a podcast earlier, but that was because everybody was saying, oh, have a podcast, and I didn't take it seriously. But this time around, I said, okay, it's very important we have something like this. And the interesting part is that to everyone I mentioned something like that to, like I need a good wellness, a good research for everything stress management and wellness for the African professional with where they cope with their stress and all of that. Everyone I mentioned it to was like, oh, I would love to listen to this podcast. Oh, I'm really interested, So I was like, okay, there is a gap here that needs to be filled, So that was also what prompted me. And before you know it, I've already come up with almost 30 podcast ideas. So it was that easy, So that was how the idea came. And then the execution part. So over the years, I've learned how not to delay in executing my ideas. Okay, so I gave myself a 40-day target, and that 40 was for a reason. It was for a reason. It's scriptural for me. So I gave myself a 40-day launch target, and by the end of that 40 days, it will be 1st of December, which is today. I should have my first podcast up, and it is happening. So there wasn't much delay. Like, I've had the idea for 1 year, 2 years, many months, and all of that. No, because I believe that the more you delay putting your information out there, the more you're denying somebody something that is beneficial to them. And these information can be really time sensitive. So if they miss it from you at that time, it's a disservice to them. So it's not really, really about you. So that is how I began the journey. And interestingly, I've had like 3 people that have asked me how to start with their own podcast. I'm ready to help, because I know what I saw to get to this stage, to get resources, because there's so many information out there, but which one will help you? Which one will help you in setting up your own home studio? Which one will help you in setting up something that won't cost an arm or a leg, I don't know how that is said. So which one is most useful to you? So that is how I came to this journey of launching a podcast, which is happening right now. So drum rolls. I'm so excited. And what I'm going to do, I'm happy to take your questions. If you have any questions for me, please share in the comments. I'll read your question. I'll read your contribution. I'll read what you think. I would love to read from you. So don't just listen. I would love to read from you. So now what I'm going to do now is to share a 1-minute clip from one of the episodes of the podcast, and that is the first episode where I talked about what to do when things don't go the way you expected. So the next voice you're going to be hearing is my voice, but from a different clip. So you're not going to be hearing me live now. This is just a 1-minute clip from the podcast. This is just to tell you what to expect, the kind of content you're going to be looking out for, the kind of audio quality, which I believe is really awesome. And then, before I go to that clip, I just have to let you know that this should have been launched of both the audio and the video. Okay? But then I realized that the audio, just editing that part, can be tasking. Even though I'm using AI-assisted platform to make it even easier. But then doing that of the video is going to be a lot of work. So I'm going to take it a step at a time. The video may even be ready by tomorrow, but the audio is ready. It's been ready for a long time. Okay, so so the next voice you're going to hear is my voice, which is a 1-minute clip from one of the episodes. I wanted to say I was living my best life in Qatar, but I now realized that it wasn't my best life because I didn't have money. But apart from that, I was enjoying my husband's money, of course. And I was also enjoying the life in... Can you hear that? I'm not sure if you can hear that. Okay. To me, back in 2021, So back in 2021, So at that time, I was living in Qatar. I wanted to say I was living my best life in Qatar, but I now realized that it wasn't my best life because I didn't have money. But apart from that, I was enjoying my husband's money, of course. And I was also enjoying the life in Qatar, before I left. So when I was there, I wasn't lazy because that was when I established myself as a stress management coach. That was when this brand kicked off in 2018, which is a different story. So that 2020 to 2021, I have finished my examinations to work in the UK, finished all the PLAB 1, PLAB 2, that's the professional exams. I've gotten my registration as well, license to practice in the UK. So it's now time to get job. Hey, Chineke na. Guys, I stay applying for jobs. I will apply, bam, rejection. I will apply, bam, rejection. Like from that June. Sorry, I just realized I was muted. So I said, if you listen to this 1 minute clip, I was talking about what happened with rejection emails. Like I received so many rejection emails to the point that it seemed people were after, like village people were after my life. So in this particular episode, I talked about what to do when things don't go the way you expected, which is very common among us as African professionals. Every single minute, someone is making a decision. Someone is applying for new jobs. Someone is applying for scholarships. Someone is applying to relocate. Someone is trying to get a rent sorted. Someone is looking for one thing or the other. As professionals, we are prone to getting no's on the journey. But then when you get the no, what do you do? So this particular episode is very, very clear. I used lots of personal stories, and in addition to that, I shared practical steps on what to do, on exactly what to do to get you out of that frustration and even depression in some cases, and even how to maximize such moments for your own best benefit. So this is not just you getting a no or a rejection email, but you using it as a stepping stone for even greater heights. So it's a very, very interesting episode. And I have a second one, which I'm not going to share now. The second one is an interview I had with Nkem Ofunabo. Oh, she's even here. Okay. Hi, Nkem. She says, I want to learn how to start my own podcast and would appreciate your guidance. You don't need to book any session with me. You know how it goes. So I'm at your service. I'm really at your service because she is one person that really believed in this project. And I called on her to be a guest podcaster, and she didn't even delay. She didn't even, as in, it was so easy to communicate with her and to get her on board. And you're going to be listening to her in one of the episodes that is launching tonight. Okay. So thank you so much for that. And I'll just share with you the podcast, which is now is the drum rolls. The launch, the launch, the launch. I sing too. So now you're going to have access to the podcasts. Okay. I'm going to be sharing with you the platforms you're going to find this podcast because right now they are live. They are live. What was just an idea like few months ago, I remember when I was still trying to figure out the name for the podcast. Oh my god, that is the most difficult part of this journey. I'm not kidding. Figuring out a name. I went from Thrive Africa to I can't keep myself to oh my god. And if you see my phone, it has different images. Even before I arrived at this image, and I'm not sure you can see clearly, which is like the logo of this streaming platform. Before I arrived at this image, I had several. Like if I had a graphic designer, I'm sure the person would be really, really tired of me. So I am really, really thankful that the journey is happening now. So the podcast launch is now available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music. I'm going to be sharing with you what it looks like on these various platforms. Okay, just give me a second and share screen, and this is what the podcast is like on Spotify. So all you have to do is go to Spotify and click on and type in Distress with Dr. E. If you can see my screen, please do let me know. Okay. So this is what the podcast is about. I just want it to be your go-to resource for everything stress and wellness for the African professional. And I am looking to releasing episodes every Friday. So if you don't want to miss it, I'm going to tell you what to do so that you don't miss any episodes. Okay. This is my intro. I don't know if that was a rant or an intro to my podcast. It's just a 6 minutes. I encourage you to listen to this. And then this is the one I talked about, the first episode I talked about, which is what to do when things don't go as expected. When you get that rejection email, what do you do? And then the podcast I had with my wonderful guest, Nkem Ofonabo, who is the harmonizer. I tell her she embodies what she teaches as a harmonizer. Okay, so I'm launching with these 3 episodes. One of them is more like an intro, but I encourage you to also listen to it. Now, I don't know if you can still see my screen. In fact, let me come back and be sure you can see my screen. Okay, so I have another one I'm going to share, which is the second screen. Okay, let me stop sharing this one. So what I shared is how the podcast is on Spotify. Now, the podcast is also available on Apple. Okay, and this is what it looks like. So if you also go to Apple, just type in De-stress with Dr. E, and you see it there, you listen to it. All the episodes are there. Okay. And then the last one, which I'm going to be sharing, is available on various platforms, but these are the popular ones I want you to know about that you can use. Okay. So I'm going to share that of Amazon Music. Yes. My podcast is up on Amazon Music. You won't believe it. You won't believe it until you see it. There you go. Look at me. There I am. Oh, this is so lovely. This is so lovely. This is so lovely. This is so lovely, I must say. This is so lovely. So this is it on Amazon Music. If you go to Amazon Music, still type in De-stress with Dr. E, and the podcast is available for you to enjoy. To your listening pleasure and to your learning pleasure. Okay? So I'll stop sharing now. Okay. Okay, thank you. So one more thing I wanted to add is oh, what was that? I remembered it when I was sharing the screen and now I've forgotten. Okay. It will be available on Google in maybe in the next week or thereabout. As it's featured on different platforms, I'll keep sharing them. Okay. So if you want it on YouTube, yes, it's also on YouTube. The podcast is also on YouTube. You can access it on YouTube. Yes. I forgot to mention that. Right. And the video version is also coming up. Maybe today. I think one of them should be up today. Yes. If you go on YouTube, my channel, which is Ezine Nnamdi. Oh, I should write that. Ezine Nnamdi is also there on YouTube. Okay. So thank you so much that this journey has come this far. It was just an idea. In fact, I didn't even know today, as in, I didn't even know it was going to be happening this way. In fact, okay, I think I remember yes, I now remember what I wanted to say. So, the podcast, I want it to be all about authenticity. Okay. If you know me, I don't like putting myself in a tight corner. And what I mean by tight corner is putting myself in a place where I struggle to do things, like struggling to create content, struggling to say the right things, just struggling. I don't want that, So I'm all about minimal stress in life. And to achieve that, I just want to be my authentic self, no pressure whatsoever. Okay. And that authenticity led me, has brought me this far. So that's why when you're listening to the podcast, there are going to be times you hear me exclaiming, like, Chineke me, see, this is me. You know, I don't want to force myself to sound all posh and all of that. Maybe the way I'm sound, maybe probably why I'm sounding this way now is because I'm cold. But so authenticity is one of the is one of the theme of the podcast. Authenticity, fun, relaxed, and educative. Okay, so I know that this is for professionals, but I encourage you, don't look too much into my spoken English. Don't look too much into any phonetics. I'm an African girl like you. I'm an Igbo girl. So that my Igbo will also come in when I'm saying things. All right. I don't want to box myself into something that will pressurize me to be who I'm not. Okay. So this is what you're going to be expecting from my podcasts. Okay. The goal is to support you in your wellness journey so that you have all you need to get to that point where you're living a fulfilled, happier, and more productive life. Of course, with more money. Okay. Which brings me to the next plan, which is my gift to you. I know I don't have a lot of people online at the moment. This video is going to be recorded, so you can watch the replay at any time. So I have two things happening today in addition to my podcast. Oh my God. This one is also very dear to my heart because it's a project that I started since last year. For some reason, I didn't carry it on for a long while because I was trying to know the right things to put into it. And now finally, I have the right things to put into it. And this is it. My website, guys, my website is ready. It's not my personal website. This is a website for my coaching practice. I've wanted to have a coaching practice and I can't believe it's happening. My website is live, guys. And my website, because it's live today, shout out to my website designer. That guy is amazing. He made sure that I have this website for this podcast launch. Shout out to him. So my website is thrivingolivecoaching.com. How I got to that name is just scriptural. I love it because the goal of what I do or what I embody is for you to thrive. If you listen, when I read about my bio, I read about different things I'm involved in: stress management, my job, parenting. I'm a wife, so different things. I'm doing different things at the same time, but I'm thriving regardless. Like Kem shared in one of the podcasts, it's not about balance, it's about harmony. Okay, harmony. And there was something exciting she said in music there is soprano, there is treble, there is bass, different singers, but then they create harmony that is pleasing to the ear, which is what music is. And that is the same way it is. You're a professional, you're someone's wife, you're someone's daughter, you're someone's mom or dad, you're a business owner, you're running a ministry, you're involved in different things, you're someone's friend. You have the 12 critical areas of your life, which Nkem explained. So when you realize that there is so much expectations on you to deliver, that is where you need this harmony in all these things without feeling overwhelmed, without feeling burnt out. I'm doing all this that is happening, and I'm so relaxed. Unlike before. Before, I may have been dealing with burnout by this time. Like when I hosted my first stress management summit, I was burnt out. I know. But today I'm hosting something this huge, launching a podcast, and also sharing talking about my website. And I'm so relaxed. How did I get here? God, number one, of course. And then stress management has really helped me. It's a gift. It's a gift to humanity. Stress management is a gift to humanity. I'm not kidding. So everything I'm doing embodies about you thriving as an individual. Before you even talk about you as an employer, as an employee, you just have to thrive. Okay, because that is your birthright. So, what I do in Thriving Olive Coaching is to help you discover your superpowers. Because one thing about us is that we don't even know what we are capable of sometimes until someone asks you the right questions to get you to think and come up with responses that will help you. Okay, so Thriving Olive Coaching is all about everything that will help you discover your superpowers to thrive beyond burnout, anxiety, and depression. Okay, so if this sounds like you, I encourage you to check out my website. And as a gift to you for being with me at this podcast launch, I have slashed the price of everything on that website. They are just basically two products. Yeah, one product and a service. Oh, or which one is products? Which one is services again? I don't know. So let me show you what the website interface is like. This is something that is really dear to my heart. I can't even believe. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. So this is my website. So this is me. You can reach me via this email. Okay, the website, it hasn't fully developed. Like there are still bits and pieces that will be on it, but these are the main things. Okay, so just ignore any mistake you see. Like my name is Louise without E, but that will be sorted shortly. My website designer is already on top of that. So when you come into the website, depending if you're using your phone or your laptop, you find out these, you look at this. So just come down straight to this to know which one you want. So I have the Thrive with Dr. Az, which is the coaching I told you about, where I help you discover your superpowers. When you click on that, this is what shows up. This is what comes on. Oh, this is me at a speaking engagement for APSU medical alumni here in the UK. So I was teaching them about stress management, which was really, really beautiful because the feedback, oh my God. So this is what the coaching is about. Okay. You click on that, you see the feedback from so many people, and then you sign up. So for this launch, I've slashed my coach. If there is anyone in coaching, in coaching industry, they will know that this is ridiculous. I know £5 for coaching for 45 minutes call. I know. So this is what it's going to be for the next 72 hours. All you have to do is choose whichever available date you have in December. I'll open up more spaces in January. So whichever you want, take up the space now. Okay. And then if you are done with that, or you don't want that, or you just want to learn independently without involving anyone, I have a stress management course, which when you click on it, is also at another ridiculous price. I know. So this is just for 32 for what's 3 days again? 72 hours. So in this course, there are so many things involved. You have the introduction, you have the science of stress management, the role of adrenaline, cortisol. You have how to recognize stress. This is very important, guys. This is very important. I work in emergency medicine, and I must tell you, this is very, very important for your life. Okay. not just for physical health and also for your behavior, so that your relationships can last. You can't keep losing relationships because you don't know how to respond or how to react to situations, okay? And then you keep doing things you regret. So, and then you will not find this anywhere how to prevent stress. It's usually how to manage stress. But I have something on how to prevent stress. The SAR approach, self awareness, gratitude, thought capturing, enforcing boundaries, giving to fulfill approach. These are things to do to prevent stress. Okay. Now, I have practical strategies to distress and then strategies to manage chronic stress, which is the popular one. Okay. So, and then dangerous habits to avoid. So if you want to do your own learning yourself, I encourage you guys. Stress management has saved my life, has really helped my life in tremendous ways. So, and that is it. And then you have the podcast, which is what we are listening to at the moment. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing now because I need to see comments or anything else from people. Oh, Mr. Michael, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay. So that is that about my website. And the final thing on my list is, so I actually have an outline. So if you joined me earlier, I had I talked about the outline for my lunch. We have to be organized. That's how we operate in the kingdom. We are organized people. So we don't just do things shabbishly. Is it shabbishly or shabbily? Ah, see, that's why I said don't put too much ear when you're listening to my podcast. Okay, so I have one more thing to share to you, and that is a free online community for the African professionals so that you don't miss discussions. For instance, something happened yesterday at work, and I'm going to share it as a podcast because it's a learning event. Okay, it's a learning event. I've reflected on it, and I believe it's something that people should do. Okay, people should do, is a recommendation, especially when you're at risk of workplace bullying. No, 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 no. We are here to thrive. We are not here for other people to trample on us. No, no, we are not here for that. You're here for your job. I'm here for my job. So we all should thrive and work as teams. Okay. So in this community, this is where you're going to be getting timely episode release so that you don't miss out on anything. Okay. See, the way I operate is such that if I drop something, you're going to find somebody that said this is really timely. It dropped at just the right time. So if you want this for your life, I encourage you to be part of this community. It's free, it's online. At the moment, it's being hosted on WhatsApp. I know sometimes people get worried about their phone numbers being on WhatsApp, being in a WhatsApp community, but I tell you, it is most effective when it comes to passing information and when it comes to getting timely information that will help your life. It is really, really effective. Okay. So if you're interested in joining this community, we are going to upload the details on the website. But for now, you can just write to me at thrivingolivecoaching@gmail.com or the email that was on the website. Write to me and I will send you the link to join the community. Okay. With time, who knows? There could be more plans for the community, but for now, it's free. Okay. So I am ready to take your question and answers if you have any. If you have any. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Kelechi. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. So I'll take your questions and answers. If you have any questions and questions for me. So for those that are interested in starting their own podcast and would appreciate guidance, feel free to reach out to me, okay? Feel free to reach out to me and let's see how it goes. I'm happy to guide you. I'm happy to send you recommendations on things that has worked for me. So feel free. Okay, so while I'm waiting for questions and answers, and also admiring my lovely hair, that looks like a load on my hair, but I love it because I just love the look. Yeah, I love it. So I'll just take your question and answers. Your questions. Yeah, I'll give the answers. Your questions on what you think. Thank you, my Mazi. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. If not for you, if not for you, yeah, you're one in a million. You're an amazing man. Thank you so much. If not for you, thank you. Your support is so palpable, so amazing. Like, which one will I talk about and which one will I leave? Okay, I think you need to leave my my live video now. I think you need to leave now. Thank you. Okay. So while I'm waiting for any questions, um, let me see if there's anything I missed out I should have let you know, or any useful information that I should let you know. So okay, let me see if there's any useful information I should let you know. So one thing that I did in this my podcast journey is documenting. I've not documented like this. Like, this is my okay. See that? That's my daughter's handwork. So documenting is one thing that has really helped me. I documented even the names of my potential guests, people I'm going to reach out to, the topics. I already have them here. The journey into choosing equipment, the journey into platforms to choose, YouTube guys I listened to, and so many other things. So I documented everything. And this is just the beginning. One major thing I ask God now is the grace to be consistent. Because if I'm looking at number one podcast in the health and wellness industry for the African continent, I have to know that this is going to be a marathon. I'm sorry about that. This is going to be a marathon. It's not going to be a sprint. Okay. So that means it's a long-term project. Okay. And I'm asking God for the grace to be consistent and also keep an eye on the goal. The same way I've hosted the Stress Management Summit every year, I'm now going to the fifth year. That's the same way I want to continue this podcast, and I will be like, oh, I started this podcast 5 years ago. Look at how far we've come now. So it's one thing to start, is another thing to continue and also finish strong. Okay. Okay, what camera are you currently using? Okay, I'm using a webcam. Is a webcam. Yeah. I don't know. Okay. Let me switch my my laptop camera so that I'll show you. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. Let me switch to my laptop camera so that I'll show you what I'm using. So this is my laptop camera. Okay. So this is, yeah, this is what I'm using. This is a webcam. And I think another thing that is really helping the video really well is the I think I'll just finish with this camera. Is the light. The light is really amazing. Okay. Let me connect the webcam so that I'll show you the light I'm using that is making the video to be really great. Okay. So I have two of them. That is the lighting system. Yeah. That is also contributing to the magic. Okay, so thank you all so much. Thank you for joining me in the launch of my podcast. It's been an amazing time. Okay, I know that it should have been 30 minutes and it spanned to 1 hour. I'm really sorry. Thank you for spending the evening with me. I really appreciate the time. I really appreciate your congratulations. I appreciate the encouragement and everything. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now go ye and spread the word. Download, listen. I'm rooting for you. Okay? I'm here. I'm Ezinne Nnamdi Lewis. If you hear that name, just know that this is that African lady that is here to support your wellness journey. She's ready to do everything possible to support your wellness journey. See you. Bye bye.